Hi everyone, quick live for you. I've just done the stock market update, so you might have questions on it if you have indeed just seen it. You might not have questions on it. Let's just move it to the right size for us over here. And any questions you might have for me as well, I'm more than happy to answer. I've got a few minutes, so I thought I'd jump onto this to answer any questions you might have about the markets and so on and so forth. Remember, this is not financial advice or inducement to buy any instruments. The big thing happening next week is Nvidia's return results coming out next Wednesday, so watch out for that. That's where we are over the past year. Not bad, is it, with the markets? So ask me any questions you wish. I really should probably be running on my bike or down the street cycling or something right now. Any questions you've got on stocks, markets and so on, I'm more than happy to answer. Also have a look at alpeshpatel.com/links and you might see on there a whole load of stuff from me. Free materials on investing generally. So, look, I can say hi to people on this thing. Say hi, you can wave at people. I didn't know I could do that. So much easier than a cell phone is all of this. And let me know what brings you to this, where you are in the world, and whether you're new to investing, whether you're experienced, whatever it is, just let me know. And hopefully you can also hear me, I hope. Because these things can always be a bit dodgy and iffy in terms of people being able to hear. So welcome all, Sebrith Zanga and everyone else. And let me know how your investments are going. This is the year-to-date performance. Look at that. Not bad, is it, with the markets? And the best thing to have done this year? Nothing. Just sat back and let it come to you. The falls were small in size, short in duration, which is actually what you want from good investments. So it's been a pretty good year so far, even though there were some wobbles, what I call baby bears, where the average prices are still rising over the medium and longer term. It's just the short term prices have dipped. That's how you remove signal from noise. Okay, what's your opinion on life strategy funds? I've done videos on my YouTube channel on those, and the performance hasn't been great with them, unfortunately. Most people who have those, who have emailed me, have said they're disappointed by the level of performance with those. They might still be suitable for you. You might be disappointed with performance. It might be suitable for you at the same time. You know, you can be disappointed with things which are suitable for you. But that's been the major problem, and I think the biggest problem with them is that whilst they've tried to protect downside volatility, they've done it by spraying and praying as opposed to holding more in cash, because they can't hold more in cash, which would have been a more sensible strategy. The YouTube channel name, I think if you... that's a good question. Let me see if I can pull it up and find it for ya. Okay, I'll see if I can get my hands on it. It'll probably be under my name, but it might have some other handle. I think it's Alpesh P1. That's it, Alpesh P1. YouTube is Alpesh P1. Pretty sure something original like that. That's the channel name. That's an easy question for me to answer, isn't it? What's my YouTube channel name? I'll pull it up and I'll give you a tour of it, because actually there's a lot of interesting stuff on there, particularly if you're looking at finance and joining the markets generally. I don't know your ages out there, so you could be anything from 70-year-olds onwards. So
audience line that actually the EU may
pull that up. That's my channel on YouTube.
now offer an extension to the end of June because they've
talking Brexit.
You're a trader. Are you making money?
Here we go. It is Alpesh Patel 1. It says at Alpesh Patel 1. Sorry about that. You'd think I'd know my own channel. I mean, there's a professional for you. Okay. Let me put this in. You can see this. Got some more questions. My daughter is 15. What's the best resource to support her learning about investing and compounding? I'd probably say I've got a ton of free material. I've just updated some of it today, Nikki. Have a look at, and it's all completely free, including downloading copies of some of my books, which you can't quite see over my shoulder. Investing. Oh, I'll put it on the website in a second, champions.com. So if you look at that, there's a ton of free resources I've put on there. So if you were to put in here, investingchampions.com, investing that's my site. And there is just so much free resource in there. It effectively amounts to a internship. Okay. And she can even put that on her CV that she's gone through the material because I'm the one who's put it together. So it's a pretty good thing for young kids to learn, not just about compounding, but actually about investing generally. I've put all my Financial Times columns in there and also a free copy of some of my books as well. Also teach them about risk and how markets can fall, so they know it's not some kind of crazy get rich quick, because that's the danger at the moment with so much trash talk out there that people suddenly think, oh, stock market, that's easy. And it isn't. It's about patience, actually, and picking quality and then waiting, sort of being a bit old and decrepit like Warren Buffett with these things. And you can see the stuff this is all free. That's covered on there. Hopefully you can see that. Let me zoom in a bit more. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. And like I said, all of it completely free, including what's in the portfolios of billionaires and so on and so forth. Okay, so you've got a ton of stuff. Comprehensive guide, Warren Buffett, there's lots of books in there as well. So I think you'll like it. What's my expectation for it? I don't have any. I don't know. I'd be just guessing. No idea what will happen. Barchart.com. Happy to have a look at that. Not heard of them. Sorry, I have heard of them, but I've not looked at them. Looks good. Investopedia's good as well. Investopedia is good. This looks good. Looks like a bit like Yahoo Finance. Okay, thanks. I'll have a look at this. Looks pretty good. Thank you for that. I haven't looked at it. I've come across it. I've heard of it. But I've not looked at this. It's one of those, so it looks good. I'll tell you what else is good. TradingView. Some of my students have told me about using this, which I have then started using. And it's largely free. I mean, look at that. That's crazy stuff. Wow. I can't even do all of that on there. But, yeah, it's largely free. And pretty good to play around with. It's amazing what's free now. When I first wrote my book, Mind of a Trader, and Trading Online 25 years ago, I thought the stuff then was good, but now it's just mind-boggling how good some of this stuff is. Is monthly MACD worrying you? No, I've just done a broadcast on that on Telegram, and as you can see, I'm not worried, because it often does do that sort of mama bear. Baby's got into mama, could become daddy, but those are infrequent, so it's not. If ever anything worries me with investing, I'd stop doing it, whether it's holding something or having so much money in it. Okay? Because one thing that's really important to me is not to worry. That's more important than making money. It's simple. I don't want a life full of worry. And if it means sacrificing some money or opportunity, that's fine. Datorama is good. Datorama. Have I spelled that right? Oh, interesting. Okay, well, it's always good to get people's views on what they like, so I'll have a look at this. Datorama. Looks a little bit ugly, but I shouldn't let that put me off. 5% or greater holding. Looks a bit like Guru Focus, doesn't it? Top 10 most held stocks. Let's go with Microsoft, see what it does when you do that. Yeah, looks all right, doesn't it? Datorama. I'm on 8 out of 10 risk with Cheatham Jackson and have averaged 6% over the last 4 years. Well, if you've got 8 out of 10 risk, of course your risk that you think you are might not be suitable to you, so they don't necessarily mean the same thing. But if you're willing to be that risk loving and you've only got 6% over the last 4 years, there's something completely wrong. Because I can't give you advice because I don't know you, but from everything that you're telling me, that doesn't quite fit in at all. Let me just move this across if I can. Across there, I want to show you something, because even if you just followed a S&P, and this is not a piece of advice to go and do that. Let's say you just followed the S&P 500 index. If we look at that, then what have you got since the last 4 years? So January 2020. Well, let's say you didn't pick it at the bottom here. Let's say you got in here. Then even on an index there, you should have had 65%. And were you to have got in closer to the bottom of the market, then that should have been 139%. So let's say you didn't get in at the bottom. Let's say you got in at the top 4 years ago. Well, I suppose we should carry August, shouldn't we? August 2020. So you should have had about a 64% return if you did nothing other than track the index. So yeah, that worries me. Another month is falling now. Let's have a look. I thought MSFT was my friend. There we go. Wasn't it? Yeah, it sort of depends. Is it falling? It's falling a little bit. It's done that before and then moved higher. I think with Microsoft, we are back to August 2021. Okay? That's all I can say, is where we are. My pension is 90% S&P 500 and 10% cash. Is that dangerous? I don't know anything about you, so I can't give you an opinion on that other than if you're risk-loving, then it's fine. But please be warned that if it's 90% S&P and it drops 35%, you're going to have a 35% loss in your pension, which if you're in your 30s, you might say, well, that's fine, I've got a long outlook. If you're in your 70s, you're going to say, what the hell? And it just wouldn't make sense. I tell you something I put up on my Telegram channel recently, which you might like, okay? Here it is. I put this up. I really like this. I don't know if you can see that. Risk tolerance versus risk capacity. Now, your risk capacity, you might think you're an 8 or whatever. And whether you are or not and is suitable to you is a different story. Your risk tolerance is usually a lot lower than your capacity. Your tolerance is what might cause you emotional distress. And you don't want to have emotional distress. So it's not about your capacity. Oh, I could easily afford that or afford this. It's about the emotional distress. I mean, think about it. If I said to you, let's fly first class to Australia, you might say, well, I've got the capacity to afford that. But you don't normally say that, do you? You normally say, I can't afford that. So don't mistake capacity with tolerance. Tolerance is what we usually use in normal life, which is I can't afford that. You can. What you mean is I'd be emotionally distressed if I made that kind of a payment. Okay, and use the same with investing, which is it's not about what you can afford to lose. And people say, oh, never invest more than you can afford to lose. No, what they should say is the even more risk-averse thing, which is never invest more than you can afford to give you peace of mind. Okay? Tim Waltz, the VP choice, I thought he gave a good speech, actually. I thought it was very authentic and natural, very Minnesotan, I guess. Other than that, I've really tried to avoid looking at the news, which is not the norm for me, given that I've got a degree in politics. Just fed up with all the negativity in the world, and it's really starting to sort of annoy me. Every single thing you look at is just, negative. Oh, this is interesting. This is pretty much straight out of, well, here we go. S&P ownership, total percent of portfolio. Looks interesting, doesn't it? Last 6 month buys, last quarter buys. You get some interesting names. United Health I bought this month. Okay, and you can sort of see what's people love and what they don't of the super gurus there. Like to know if your fund offers any similar internship. Yeah, have a look at. So I do, because I get so many requests. I created a whole free remote internship. You can put it on your CV. You work through it. And it is this. You will go through all of this material, and I will be able to see what you've done. It'll go through everything from AI, which I teach you. All of these are done by me. So I will be teaching you AI in stock picking and so on. I'll also give you Deutsche Bank reports, all these banking reports. So if somebody were to ask you for an interview, like a JP Morgan, and we've had interns go to JP Morgan, you'd know what you're talking about. I'd know what you've done. Okay? And you get a certificate at the end if you want it, as well, of completion. And there's lots of books that are in here as well. It's all free. It's all completely free. Hedge fund careers, whether they're good. Compounding. Somebody had asked about compounding. The videos are there. It's investing-champions.com. If you'd have a look at that. Do you have any offers at your fund? Not at the moment on site. No. Partly because we ourselves are so running around. I've got one part, so we have two partners and myself. So there's three of us. One's in Switzerland, in Zug. The other one is in Munich. And I am just back from Asia, and I'm about to fly out to the US. So 22% increase in 5 years. The FTSE, the FTSE is a bit of a problem, actually. You mentioned that, and you've picked a good 5 years, but if you pick the longer term, it really doesn't do that great. Now, is that Telegram account? There seems to be three which appear. Yes, there's two private ones which are open only to clients, and there's one public one. If you go to alpeshpatel.com/links, you'll find all my free resources, all the websites that I've mentioned, and all the free resources are on there. Okay. I didn't get to post much anymore. I was in Bali. I post quite a bit, but I was in Bali. I thought I did. What does my day look like day to day? Today, I was playing with my son until about midday. And I'm waiting for I am waiting for my wife to message me so I can collect her. And we've got some friends coming around for pizza and Indian food home in the garden. So we're going to do a little garden party, and I'm going to play some pickleball. That's my day at the moment. It's not a good comparator to how it was in my 20s and 30s, which would have been, I'm working till 4 a.m. and getting up at 7, having about 3 hours sleep, dying, getting obese, killing myself. So how it is now is different to how it was. Inflation's been over 22% in 5 years. Thanks for the answers. What do you think about writing covered calls on good dividend stocks as a way to actively manage funds? It's a popular strategy. It's not one I've practiced. I've been, because my way of investing has been directional. It's not to say it's better. It's just been directional. And because it's been directional, I've tended not to do covered calls. But it's fine. Just watch out with covered calls that you don't get a lot of wins. You'll get 90% wins. Everything will look wonderful. Just make sure you don't get ending up in stocks which drop and you get coverage, but then what? Okay. Do you see FIA as a positive hedge against market risk for a portion of your funds? Remind me, FIAs. I want to become a broker. Do you think it would be a good idea to go through your internship? The internship won't do you any harm, because if you don't complete it, it's entirely up to you. It's not going to harm you. I'm not going to say, oh, I didn't complete it. But it'll give you a lot of information, and you'll learn a lot about the market. So, and it's free. I mean, you've got nothing to lose. Cost zero. You've got all of this, and you can do whatever you want whenever you want. So you're not committed to anything. And like I said, it's all completely free. So there you go. Pickleball. I know, pickleball. Can you believe it? It's because I've got to do pickleball in Cape Cod in about 2 months. Left corporate law. I used to do company law, the US law firm in the city. To take any advice? 26. Which firm? I know Gibson Dunn. I know some of the US ones. I trained as a barrister. Any advice? Here's some. If you're doing a tech startup, tech2great.com, have a look at my free resources on tech2great.com. This is one of my sites. I co-founded the UK chapter of this organization, Thai.org, which is part of the world's largest mentoring organization. Okay, so I co-founded the UK chapter of that. And can you believe it? Bill Gates is one of our charter members. So I've been helping entrepreneurs for a while. If you go to Tech to Great, the number Tech and then to Great, and you look at the resources, great source of funding. I've put together all the sources of funding for entrepreneurs. So here's a ton of sources of funding. Have a look at those. That'll help you on your funding journey. And I've also put together great resources for entrepreneurs in terms of what kind of pitch decks get money and what don't, what you got to get right, what are the resources available to you, and so on and so forth. So I'd say have a look at that. It's all free. I put that together for people. Tech and then the number to great.com. Have a look at, of course, tie.org. Goodwin Procter. Okay, good. For which your student loans, which are now 8%, is there any point being in the markets? For people who have student loans, which are now at 8%, is there any point being in the markets? I think any point being in the markets is really, it's a two-way question. One is I could answer you what the returns historically have been. There's no guarantee they'll happen in the future, but it's probably useful to know about the markets because it's where your pension money is going to go when you get a job. The flip side of that is you might say, well, I've got so little money left. I'd rather just take an EasyJet flight to Mallorca. What's the point of putting £200 in an ISA when I could get a flight to Mallorca instead? And I completely understand that. So it's partly I can answer it, partly you've got to answer it for yourself. Okay. Fixed index annuities, more so index with a floor and a market participation. Yeah, I'm not a specialist on annuities at all. FIAs, therefore, are not something I could talk about knowledgeably, I'm afraid, on that at all. Any other questions, you let me know. So that's Ty. That's tech2great.com. Great sources of funding for those who are looking at investing. Those who are looking at becoming entrepreneurs. Like I said, I put a ton of information together for them on my site, and it's all free. Okay, these are some of the companies that I've worked with and helped bring to the UK. Air for Life, check it out. They use NASA technology for clean air, so I brought those over here. Worldwide Generation, she's phenomenal. I mean, I can't take credit for the work that Worldwide Generation on, which is Advotech in healthcare, Thinkable Labs, Credit Enable, Finboot, Carbon Clean have been a huge success. Their investors include Samsung, AXA, and Equinor, and they have carbon extraction technology, so they remove carbon from smoky chimneys. Thoratech, City Spotter, let me see, Agam, what else? Builder.ai, Microsoft invested in that at $1 billion valuation. Athenian, which is cybersecurity, it's been one of mine. Deep Sights is also cybersecurity as well. There you go. So have a look at that. It'll help you if you want to be an entrepreneur. I use AI to write programs to select stocks according to the rules in your books. Fantastic. Vilvo, no, you've been doing some amazing stuff. You're really strong on the computing and the programming side, far more than I am. I'm really impressed. We should, if you're in London, we should meet sometime because I've been fascinated following your TikTok videos as well. Can you look at momentum on JPM and I just literally did that. Will, I literally did that. It is on my TikTok. The latest video I did is the stock market update, and I've just done that. So you can see a detailed explanation on Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, both of which I continue to hold. GS is here. I was just asking my wife when we're doing pizza and curry tonight for friends. I've got an eclectic mix of friends coming tonight. There's Goldman's. It's getting a bit overboard. It's a bit like it was in 2021 around here. So the upside's probably going to be a bit limited before some pullbacks. When things get up overboard a bit, they tend to get a bit more volatile. The pullbacks tend to be steeper. Sideways moves tend to be more frequent than at the bottom of a move up, as you can expect. You know, you're getting more people with disconfirming views, people with different sources of opinion when it gets a bit overbought. And we're getting closer to that. So expect more pullbacks, okay, with Goldman's and JP Morgan. Doesn't mean you need to get out right now. Don't forget the knees and toes. Absolutely. Is JOM quite risky as a result of the Chinese futures set against it? JOM, or did you mean JPM? Who is your internship awarded by? For example, what company could I put on my CV? Profinium. We're an FCA regulated fund. We have private equity fund, venture capital, which my partners run. They pretty much run it all, actually, now that I'm fairly retired. So that's the company. No questions, just thanks. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you very much. So yeah, have I missed anything yet? Have I missed anything? Alpesh, thank you for the information. Good. Just ask my wife for timing. Oh, can I show you something else? This is 2022. The S&P gave a negative 18% return. Yeah, markets can fall as well as rise. Every single one of those dates is the day, so 8th of March in 2022, when the markets fell, say, between minus 0.5 to 1. And it was a year in which I was largely in cash. That was it. These 5 minutes on here have been helpful. You're here. Oh, thank you very much. I'm so pleased. Really pleased on that. Yeah, so the internship, so we've had people go on to JP Morgan, literally, and email me back and say, it's thanks to you. So I'm really pleased. And like I said, it's completely free. And the education material on there is all free. The books to download, the videos, they're all done by me personally. And the reason for that, I put in a video this morning on LinkedIn, the exact reason why I do it. And I'll show you this now. If you were to go onto my LinkedIn, again, alpeshpatel.com/links, you'll see all of this. The reason is something I put here. There it is. It's a post I wrote about why I do this. It's that one. Stay relevant as you get older. As you get older, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they all write these books, which I've done, Michael Bloomberg, because you need to stay relevant. You want to be a part of the conversation. And staying relevant, TikTok certainly seems the place as well. So I did that whole internship because it was my books. Books aren't relevant so much. I mean, who the hell reads books anymore, sadly? So I did it that way. On there. You're too close to your camera, bud. Better stream this out if you're further from the camera. Bum, bum, bum. My wife says that. She says, dude, why are you so close? What the hell? Yeah, I know. It's just the way the layout is of the thing. And I could actually zoom out. But wait a minute. Let's see if I can zoom out. Whoa. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not me. It was the bloody Zoom. You're absolutely correct. There we go. How's that? You're 100. Thank you. I don't know why I did the Zoom so close. Thanks for that. Probably put a few people off their tea as well. Would you ever mentor someone? I used to. I just don't have the time anymore. I used to. What I did is then leverage my know-how by putting the mentoring into two main websites, which are both free. Tech to Great for entrepreneurs and investing-champions.com for people who want to invest. And everything that I'd ever teach you is on there. You can always email me and ask me questions. Okay, but I just lack the time. Now I've got a 6-year-old son, so that's the problem. What would you say the most valuable company on a CV is? Depends obviously on the profession you want to go into, but if it was in banking, then I'd assume, a JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, etc. So who are the best? I just asked ChatGPT, which are the best companies in your field. I bought ODTE at 560 on a SPY at 0.48. No idea what that means. Okay. So sorry, FinFund. I don't know what SPY is at 0.458 today. 0 days till expiry. Oh, bloody hell, that's risky, isn't it? Do I invest in China? No. I would you believe on 9/11, well, the 12th of September 2001, I did a lecture at the University of International Business in Beijing because I was out there for the Foreign Office. And I've been to Shanghai many times. I've been to Beijing, but I don't generally invest in China. 560 puts. Okay. I'm definitely going to email you. It would be great to meet in London one day. So the way I do meetings with people is if they're on my free Telegram channel, I often host events, usually in Parliament, and I invite people to them, and they're free events for people to come along. So they get to see an event which could be on business, entrepreneurship, anything, meet a good bunch of panelists. I'm normally hosting the panel members, and then we just take it from there. So that's how I meet them. I don't have the time to meet one-to-one with all the people who want to meet me, but I can meet them in batches. So again, it's about leveraging time. What's your opinion on LNG, Global Technology Index Accumulation Fund? I think on my YouTube channel, I've covered that. I've covered a lot of funds on there because a lot of people with pensions ask me, and so I have covered quite a few.
You're a trader. Are you?
There we go. So if you look at why your pension is performing well, if you go to my channel and look there, you'll see that I've covered quite a few, and I may well have covered that one. So on my YouTube channel, you go to alpeshpatel.com/links, and you'll find it. Okay. And Scottish Mortgage Investment Trust, St James's Place. There's a whole bunch. You'd have to scroll through them to see. There you go. L&G International. It's one of theirs. Scottish Widows, and so on and so forth. So you'll see it there. Why can't I say the S&P on your stream? Why can't you see on which stream? Would you take on an intern or someone to shadow you for work? So I only do remote internships, not least because if I did have them shadow me, they'd be coming on a flight to Bali and then Cape Cod and then New Delhi and Agra, which they would love, but I'm not sure. Why can't I? Here we go. It says on Twitter, my comment is removed from due to your settings. Oh, that's weird. No idea. I don't think I've got any weird settings. When I type S&P. Oh, that's weird. Sounds like a good internship to me. Yeah, I know. It'd be great. What if I paid for my flights? I know the cost is not the issue, I can assure you. I appreciate your asking. Oh, okay. I've got to go. Why so? So yeah, have I traded option? I used to trade calls and puts, so long calls, long puts, full time, and then CFDs became easier for the leverage that I wanted. So I do less of it nowadays. I used to in my late 20s, and I've written about it in my books as well, and the strategies that I used to use as well. Do I analyze trade forex pairs? Yes, but that's on the trading side, and I use purely momentum for trading. Remember, 70 to 80% of people lose money trading. So do bear that in mind, partly because of the leverage. Have you heard of VPA? No. What's VPA? Not heard of it, but always interested to hear about new things. The market's a bit down. I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to soon say bye, only because I want to see my dad and then see my wife and son. I didn't think you would come back. So, okay, no worries. Just messaging my wife. Okay. ASTS on your radar. Not looked at it, but I will. You only specified trips to countries, not a reason. No, I know. Do you know what the real reason is? I just don't like the obligation of having somebody with me so much. I used to, but I like to meet them at events that I'm doing. Because I honestly like the freedom now at my age of just not, I've got to go into an office because I've got an intern there. I'd rather this morning I just felt like playing with my son till midday. You know, what are you going to do? I mean, my wife's going to think it awkward if you're at my home. Where's the party? Your mum told me maybe I could come for a bit of free beer. Okay. Yeah, definitely have a look. Have a look on my Telegram channel. I'll put it up when it's there. I think October is when we're looking at the next event in Parliament. Okay. No, don't fight, guys. He's not begging. It's actually good that he's asking, because that's what you should do. Because I remember at your age, I'd have to push as well. But please do that. Come along to those events, and you never know, there'll be other people in the audience who are looking. But the best way to sort of be with me and sort of learn stuff is to be at the events. You'll see things, you'll learn a lot. You know, it's concentrated, because if you're in an office, all that's probably going to happen is you'll be sitting there doing next to nothing, because most of the time the stuff that I give you on the virtual internship or I telegram to you and tell you to have a look at, it's there as well. No, please do. And Parliament's great because it's free and it's fun as well. I will check out VPA as well. VP Petrochemical, is that it? Does that make sense? Let me know if it's that one. Volume price analysis. Bloody hell. Yeah, I don't do volume price analysis. I've even in my books I skipped it. It's a bit like I don't know anything about wine. There's just not enough hours in the day. I know people enjoy some of that, but not for me. What time are your events typically? Evenings, about 6:30 start. in the evenings. I'm going to see. And I normally put it, as I say, on the well, not normally, I always put it on the Telegram channel. I'll see if I can find one that I did recently. This is just from my Telegram. I'm just looking at oh, that's one of my columns. That's my first column in the Financial Times, September the 11th, 9/11, 1999. And what you can't quite see that I've circled there is where I say, I'm selling my entire UK holdings and buying only US stocks. Okay, that's what I've said. That was 25 years ago. And it's printed there. The winning ways of Uncle Sam. You tell me, has the last 25 years gone? So I've had a fair wind behind me, as it were. Let's see if I can find the last event. This is all from my Telegram channel. Let's see if I can find the last event, because I put it on there. This is the kind of stuff you'll get on my Telegram channel. You'll get a whole bunch of stuff, which will... Oh, there we go. That's it. You get data. You get stuff from JP Morgan on there. It's all free. I pull out whatever I think's interesting for people to look at, and so on. There we go. There's one event. So I invited people to political hustings. That was at the Taj in St. James's, which I moderated. UK India Awards, I couldn't invite people to. That's obviously 27th of June 2024 because I was a guest. That was the political hustings. So these kind of invites I'll put on there so people can come along. Okay. And this one was at the House of Lords, which I moderated. You can see that. So if you keep an eye on the Telegram channel, something to my hair. If you keep an eye on the Telegram channel, you'll see the invites. Okay. What is the most value in assets or stocks that you've held at one point? I guess it was through the fund. So we set up the hedge fund in 2004, and I guess it was RIM, Research in Motion, which were the makers of BlackBerry, in 2005. I think that and Apple meant for the whole year we did nothing except look out the window, pretty much. Oh, you mean the S&P? Sorry, SPY. Got it. Puts, I bought at 48, are trading at 2 now. Well done. You bought the puts at 48 and they're at 2, so you must have bought out of the money, and it's the volatility. That must be a lot of volatility that's embedded in the price, I would have thought. And there must be deep out of the money puts. And it's because the Vega shot up, which is why the premium's gone up, is what I would have thought has happened. I look pretty young. I guess you've been in the game a long time. Those two things don't make sense. You look pretty old. I guess you've been in the game a long time. I made my first investment when I was 12, £100 into some stocks. So yeah, I've been around for a while. Most revenue generated with the fund as an entity, not your personal income. What was the most revenue generated? Well, I didn't generate it. It goes into a fund. Goes from the fund into the asset manager. The asset manager then has to pay the employees, office costs, legal costs, auditors, accountants, administrators, staff. So of that, I get nothing, pretty much. Peanuts. Okay? So whatever the fund generated, honestly, let me put it this way. So you got 100 million and the fund got 2 million coming in. Okay? Of that 2 million, I'd see nothing. Because 2 million is not a lot once you've got Mayfair costs and accountants, auditors and staff and everything else and office costs and Bloomberg terminals. I think we had at the peak around about 6 Bloomberg terminals. So $100 million fund means one of the shareholders, me, gets nothing. My wife works in venture capital and she'll tell everybody, do not go into fund management unless you're an employee. She says, be an employee, don't set up a fund, and I'm agreeing with her. 5 years before I was crypto and forex, but they're baby games. Yep. No. Where are you based? Brook Street in Mayfair, just near Claridge's. What's the biggest fund you held? I don't hold funds. I hold individual stocks. And we tend to be quite concentrated in holdings. So we hold individual stocks. On the private equity side, I guess the biggest investment we had, on the hedge fund side, they're just listed companies. So it would be Apple, Research in Motion, whatever. The biggest holding in the private equity side, which my partners had bought, we had some Romanian wind farms. How do I work in the process under you? alpeshpatel.com/links will tell you how to be an apprentice. Why not ETFs? Because I like more risk, more reward. So I know you can get leverage ETFs. I sometimes hold leverage ETFs. Starting a hedge fund is a good idea in 2024. I think it was a bloody bad idea in 2004 when I did it 20 years ago because I didn't raise tons of money. So that was that. What can I say? So I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, as I get older, I'm starting to think, entrepreneurship is if you've got a real itch for it, but otherwise just leave it well alone. Near Hanover Square. Yep, I was there just yesterday. When is a good time to invest in ETFs? Depends on the ETF. What kind of tech do you leverage? What do you mean? What kind of tech do I leverage? My biggest stockholder at the moment is Robinhood and Vax. Okay. I think I've answered. Listen, guys, got 75 people now. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. But I better go. I want to spend some time with my parents before I go off and see my wife and child. Okay. So, there you go. There's the Goldman Sachs forecast for the... private equity is very lucrative. That's like saying playing the lottery is very lucrative. Do you charge flights or have a company jet? No, don't have a company jet. I tell you what the funny thing is. I fly commercial and I drive a Lime bike. I ride a Lime bike. I have cars under my name, which my uncle has one of them, my dad has one, and my wife has one. I don't have, and I can use theirs, but I don't have a car as such. I have a Lime bike because I live in central London. And if you saw if you saw the cost of the damage repairs to my wife, to the car that I own that I gave my wife to drive, you too would say, bugger this, I'm not stupid. Why would I just not hire a bike every day to cycle around London? As well, I work on the exact road. Cyclist off right now. I'm telling you, I love it. My bliss is riding a bike. My bliss is not driving around in a Ferrari, I'm afraid. I'd love to tell you it was. I'd love to say, yeah, I love being in a Ferrari. They're just great and all. Oh, it's riding a bicycle. I don't know. It reminds me of childhood. You sort of see the world. What can I say? It is what it is. How do we follow your wife? She's on LinkedIn. She's on Instagram. I think Instagram thing is private, but yeah, she's in venture capital and she's in LinkedIn. She's global head of venture capital for the British government. She brings in the big bucks for the government into the UK from the sovereign wealth funds around the world, brings investment in like Andersen Horowitz and so on. So, and works with those funds here. So they create more jobs here, pay more tax here, invest here. Most importantly, create jobs. You should be on Bloomberg. I had my own show, don't you? For 3 years on Bloomberg. Bikes are quicker, and honestly, it is the heartbreak of parking a car and then seeing it scraped on one side, as my father-in-law did with mine. So I just don't need the stress, especially you get older. You grow out of certain things, don't you? You want your fast car when you're young. Then your screensaver becomes, I don't know, the sunset. As your age goes on, in your teens, your screensaver is, you all know what it is. And then in your 20s, it's probably a fast car. And 30s, it's like, I don't know, some sunset and some couple holding hands. Thank you, Vilvo. Your opinion about Nvidia before earnings? It's a gamble before earnings. Always is. Thank you very much. Start enjoying smooth radio. I don't leave it. I like smooth radio for a number of years, and Radio 4 in the morning. Also like a bit of Taylor Swift as well. I think her lyrics are great. Especially 22. It's long canals with that. Well, there you go. Sea herons and swans. There you go. LBC as I get older. I listen to LBC as well. Everybody's so angry. It's like going on Twitter for 2 minutes. Anyway, listen, guys, I really better run. Great, we've got so many people on it. Please like and follow for more and all the rest of it. Oh, I should show you where that... Yeah, so that's the LinkedIn. You can follow me on there.